following is a digital media production.
Welcome to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by digital media. Jamie Dukes, Chad Ochocinco, and it's going to be a crazy show.
Playbook Incorporated presents the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by digital media. Find your voice.
We're talking sports with 85. PODCAST podcast with your boys Chad and PODCAST 85. Chad is Duke.
Welcome to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast with Chad Johnson and Jamie Dukes. And before we even go any further, happy birthday to our man Chad Ochocinco. What's up, Chad?
Man, I effing love you. I appreciate it. It feels good to be 42. I
40
look
what?
good. 42.
Huh?
Yeah, I look good to be 42. I'm not sure what math class you went to, but the math class I attended, I always rounded up. So I'm just rounding it up. So once you pass 35, I've been 40 the past 5 years.
So that's that new trig kind of new math.
New trend.
Stuff. Gotcha.
Hey,
okay.
you know one thing. We age gracefully, so it doesn't matter. It's just a number.
Right. I'm glad we in that mix. But anyway, so let's talk. We start every show with our favorite segment, my favorite segment, which is Child Please. Tell people what Child Please actually means, Jack.
Child Please is a nice way of saying F you for those who understand it. There's certain people that piss you off, but there's certain people you don't want to insult. So this is a way of getting your insult across without the individual knowing that you're insulting them. The key to it is your delivery. The key to it is delivery. Delivery is key in everything that you do, including presentation.
Including in the sack. I'm sorry, I got distracted. I'm sorry, you were saying about the delivery. Delivery, that's what you were saying. Go ahead.
Delivery is key in all that you do. You said it right.
Okay. All right. So who is today's inaugural Child Please for you?
Look, my inaugural Child Please right now is my beloved and will forever be my beloved Bengals.
Oh,
my beloved Bengals.
Oh,
Listen. This is the thing. The people of Cincinnati have been waiting some 24 years for the moment that was in their hands 2 nights ago.
Right.
That moment was taken away by two individuals that I love dearly.
So you are blaming those 2 individuals, which shall be named nameless.
No, I'm not blaming them.
You're not
because
okay.
I would never put the blame on them.
Okay, so if I wanted to, since you won't, I could if I chose to possibly put the blame on Perfect or my man Pac-Man. I could if I chose to do that, you're saying.
I would never put the blame on them. Those were just 2 incidents that helped the Steelers, helped the Steelers, if anything, win that game. It should have been sealed once Burfict got that interception. Game should have been over. When he ran through that tunnel, that's it. The game should have been over from that point there. Some things that happen. Unfortunately, I'm scared to even talk. Because I'm still hurting a little bit.
I feel you. Okay, let me ask you this though. Okay, so you've been in a situation, I'm sure, at some point in time where. What's that in the background? Are you lighting up now?
I'm lighting up. I'm lighting up because I'm nervous. I'm shaking and I'm nervous.
Okay. So you're lighting up. Okay. So while you're lighting up, let me ask you this question. Let's go back into the annals of the Chad Ochocinco experience in the National Football League. Have you ever been in that situation where you cost your team the game? In your mind? Other things may have happened, but one game that you've had that, man, I should have caught that touchdown or that drag route. If I had caught that one. Is there ever a situation like that?
No, not that I can remember. But there have been some plays that I'm sure I could have made throughout my career that would have made a difference in the game. That happens. That happens. But we're talking about this is completely different. This is the end of a game.
Right.
We have the game sealed up. And there are a chain of events that happen even when you still had a chance after a fumble to win the game, because the Steelers still weren't in field goal range, if I'm not mistaken, to actually make a kick. The penalties that happen put them in field goal range
at point blank
to be able to do so.
Yeah, at point blank range. Wow.
Point blank.
Child.
24 years. Not only have I been waiting on it, the fans of Cincinnati, they are owed that. They are owed that refreshing moment for a change after such a long time.
Could I just get one more child, please? So how would you say child, please, in that second?
Man, child, please.
You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by Digital Media.
You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast.
Time now for the NFL bounce. All 4 road teams won this weekend in the playoffs. And how about this, Chad? All 4 losing quarterbacks were actually first-time playoff participants. Mm-hmm. Do you think that had anything to do with all 4 losing?
No, most definitely not. If you look at the different games, all 4 quarterbacks did just enough for
exception of one. With exception of one.
Just one.
With exception of Hoyer. He
yeah.
was awful.
I think Hoyer, I'm not sure if it was the pressure, but to think someone that played behind Brady and understanding, what it takes to win in that type of atmosphere when the game is on the line, I expect more from him. But again, I'm not a quarterback. I understand the pressure that comes with the position, so I wouldn't expect him to play. I hate using the word horrible because I know the work that we as players put in. For him to have a game like that and not even give it a chance, his team.
Oh, come on, Chad!
Hurts.
That was awful. It was awful.
Okay.
It was awful.
You never know what happened. Maybe it was the pressure. Maybe the pressure. Just give me something. Just give me something. I don't want to talk bad about my colleagues.
Well, okay. So we're gonna be nice to every. Anyway, let's move on. As a matter of fact, because I was gonna actually talk a little bit more about that Cincy game, but I'm gonna let you kind of let your nerves settle there a little bit. Yeah, I'll stay with the Texans from this standpoint and ask you this question: were you surprised that, say, Billy O'Brien didn't necessarily pull Hoyer and stick somebody else in?
Yeah, a little bit. But I think maybe O'Brien really thought the same thing that I just said. The experience.
Was he puffing on a cigar at the time when he did that too? Maybe that's what it was. He was firing up, or was he firing up a joint?
I don't know what he was firing up.
Something. He was medicated. He was medicated not to put somebody else in the game, Chad.
But would somebody else have given you a better chance to win in that situation? I don't think so. I think the only person that was given the chance to win in that situation would be Hoyer. He just had a bad game, and he chose the wrong time to have a bad game.
All right, I'll give you that one.
Pressure.
But still,
pressure.
We've seen it. We've talked about that before. And matter of fact, let's go to your beloved Cincinnati Bengals now. Did A.J. McCarron show you? I'm going to put you on the spot too, big boy.
Yeah.
First of all, how did A.J. McCarron perform in your mind?
I think he played well enough for him to win. Due to the conditions, the conditions are never really an excuse you use. You have to adapt to your surroundings at all costs. But due to the conditions and environment that A.J. McCarron, especially not having the experience of playing in a game of that magnitude, but coming from a background of winning consistently at a different level, he played well enough for him to win. And he put his team in position to win.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. Now here we go, Chad. Yeah, there's a setup coming here now. I'm gonna go ahead and hit it one time because this is a curveball that's coming.
Let me hit it.
Hit it one time and tell me when you're ready. Tell me when you're ready because this is
okay.
You ready now?
All right, I got it.
I'm
lit up. I'm
all
ready.
Right. Hypothetically, if the kid who I agree with you put the team in position to win the game, had he won that game, and Andy Dalton was healthy the next week to play, who would be starting quarterback for the Bengals if you were Marvin Lewis?
Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had the best season of his career this season.
But we've known what seasons meant. Yeah, and we also know
we know what seasons meant, but right now that confidence that the Red Rifle has right now, before he injured his thumb, is out the roof. And I think the chemistry between him, the offense, his receivers, running back, and then I think the play calling becomes the umbrella of the play calling. It opens up a little bit more when you have Andy Dalton back on the center.
Okay,
and you already know that the money always starts.
I would have.
I'm not even gonna get into that.
I would have started A.J. McCarron, and here's why I would have started him. Even if Andy was healthy. And again, it's hypothetical, but we're just having a little conversation because that's what we're doing. We're just sitting around smoking something or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It could have been, it could be a cigar, it could be something else. Anyway, so the point is, but the point is that For me, I would have started A.J. only because, like, go back and look at what happened with Ben. And I could even take this all the way back, per se, to when Parcells, didn't allow Phil Simms to come back when he was healthy. When Jeff Hostetler took over and Parcells said, I'm going to continue to ride this out, I would have been more inclined. And I agree with everything you said about Andy Dalton. This year, he's been clicking and moving. But for continuity purposes, because there's got to be that in-game rust that he's got to work out, I would just wait and just say, hey, we'll figure that out next year. But because we saw Big Ben. Big Ben's still throwing picks.
Right.
That was my little thing on that. But let's move on. Let's talk about the Vikings, because I know it was hard. I mean, gut-wrenching for you. And I got to be full transparency. I've always had a problem with kickers. And I've always felt like anytime you can go watch soap operas while I'm at practice, I got a problem with you.
Right.
So that's why I've always had this little thing with kickers. But what was your thought watching that at the end yesterday?
Watching at the end, for one, he hooked it. If you notice, regardless of where the laces are. Remember, I'm a kicker. I was a kicker. I was a kicker from who knows, and I was a backup kicker for Cincinnati for what, 10 years? I was the backup kicker in case our kicker went down.
Right.
Laces out, laces in, keep your head down, and his follow-through was to the left, which is why the ball went to the left. Every time whoever's holding the ball is not going to be able to spin those laces around every single time. You have to be consistent in your follow-through, keeping your head down, and not lifting it up until the ball crosses the goalpost.
So he straight nutted. He just straight.
Just watch his follow-through.
Yeah. Oh, I saw it. I saw the hitch.
Ball.
But let me ask you this though:
He hits it, and he follows through all the way to the left. And which way does the ball go? Right to the left.
But did he hitch? Part of it looked like, and I don't know if they slowed it down, it looked like he hitched when he saw the laces or something. Something didn't look smooth in that.
Yeah, I didn't notice that part. What I was just paying attention to, regardless of the steps, the timing is always the same. The timing is always the same. The snap, the kick, your steps, it's always in unison because somebody's coming off that edge.
Yeah, that was
his follow-through. Once you follow through, your leg has to stop at the same spot every time. Every time you kick, that follow-through has to be exactly the same. You can't kick and follow through and then sway all the way to the left because the ball is going all the way to the left. Even a smidge. Even a smidge.
Right.
It has to be the same every single time. And I can talk about it because I kick.
Well, you could talk about it because you're Chad, too. I mean, there's always that. But anyway, okay, let's move on and let's talk about the last game, which was, is Aaron Rodgers back or is Aaron Rodgers back?
He's back, but he was also playing against a Redskin defense that didn't play great football in the second half. They didn't play great football in the second half on defense at all. And then the offense sputtered as well, not really putting that team in the position to be able to, even give themselves a chance to win.
So are you believing more in Aaron and what they're doing in Green Bay? Or you think it's going to catch up to them, that they still have the same issues and just Washington didn't perform up to the level and Washington was in kind of an inferior
I think Washington performed to the level when the game first started, that first quarter. If they continued that play, that aggression, that pressure they were putting on Aaron Rodgers throughout 4 quarters, they'd be preparing to play next week, period. What happens when Aaron Rodgers and then play a better defense, which they're going to face coming up? What's going to happen? It's going to be a different ball game.
Well, and I guess the question becomes, can they protect them? Because once they got the running game going in the second half in particular, and you saw the numbers, they were kind of so lopsided, then all of a sudden that dang passing game really kind of opened up. And even then still, Aaron only threw for two and a quarter or something like that and a couple of touchdowns. So it's not magic per se, what we've seen vintage, but apparently the balance there seems to be kind of the right formula.
You got to be able to stop one or the other. And one thing that you don't want any team on is you don't want a team running on you, especially in the playoffs. The running game is extremely key because with the running game, it takes the pressure off the quarterback. It takes the pressure off the left tackle that was struggling the entire game, to block. And then now that the running game's working, it makes the pass game that much easier. And once Aaron Rodgers gets in rhythm, it's a done deal.
Now we've got the way this thing is now shaking itself out, and I think we've ever had. Matter of fact, I know for a fact, I think we've never had this in history. You've got all the number 1 seeds basically taking on the 6 seeds. The 6 seeds, dang, all of them are dangerous. And it's going to be very interesting to see which one of the teams, because somebody's always got the ring rust. The team that has the bye, somebody always comes out rusty. And so, who do you think is the team right now that's in the most trouble of the teams that actually sat out this weekend? You had obviously Denver sitting at home. You had New England sitting at home in the AFC. You had in the NFC. You had Carolina Panthers sitting at home, and who else was sitting at home? Who's the other team that's sitting at home? I'm missing somebody. But the point to be made is that whoever's sitting at home, which one of those four teams do you think? The Arizona Cardinals was the other team that was sitting at home. Who do you think is in the most trouble based on what you've seen?
Based on what I've seen, I don't think any of them are in trouble.
Okay.
I don't think if anything, maybe the New England defense in trouble, but the fact that they have Tom Brady on the other side of the ball, I think he's going to be able to carry them through. You talk about Denver, we got Peyton Manning at the helm. He's experienced. He's been knocked out of the playoffs all the time, but he gives your team the best chance to win. And their defense is lights out. Their defense is great. Cam, they've already got their one loss out. They got their one loss out the way. They're ready to play ball on both sides of the ball. I really can't wait to see Josh Norman perform again.
Well, okay,
Arizona Cardinals,
all right,
they're also playing well. And their defense is doing the same thing. I think with those four teams, it comes down to the turnovers in the game, and whichever team makes the least amount of mistakes wins.
Oh, come on. I mean, I read that online this morning. Somebody's in trouble, Jay.
How are they going to be in trouble?
No, I'm just saying. So you're saying all the road teams?
Think about it. What reason? Why would they be in trouble? What reason? Nothing's wrong with Cam. Nothing's wrong with Carson. Nothing's wrong with Tom.
Right.
Brady got everybody coming back. Gronk is back. Edelman's back. Amendola's back. I mean, they come in full force.
Hey, by the way, you think you can get Brady to start listening to our podcast? I know he's not big in social media now. Can you get?
Matter of fact, I get him an interview. I think we'll get Brady on.
Yeah, I don't know. He might not want me to be on with him, but anyway.
No, why not? Brady's cool.
Yeah, I know. Oh, he's real cool. Hey, I'm a Brady fan. He's cool.
That's one smooth black man, I tell you.
Smooth black man, yeah. With
black
a wife.
Man.
And
people always ask me, what do you mean by that? I say, if you hold a conversation with him, you'll understand. If you watch his mannerisms, you'll understand. And this is one I always throw to people. If you watch Brady walk and you watch Obama walk, you won't be able to tell the two apart.
And he got a chick from the South Side. He's married to a chick from the South. Right? Isn't she from South somewhere? South Central or South America? One of the two of them. I get them confused. But it's something like, I know it's South something. Yeah. All right, so we're in recap here. So what you're basically saying, so you believe that all of the teams that were resting this week are going to win?
Yeah, most definitely. Okay. Most definitely. Man, you get that rest. Everybody that's injured, you got your nicks and your bruises, everything healing. Man, they coming out guns blazing, ready to rock and roll. The only way those four powerhouses, these not just your foo-foo teams that happen to squeeze through in the playoffs because of a bad record. No, these are legit contenders to win a bowl. You'll see what I mean.
I hear what you say, because there's some great playoff action that's happening. And for those of you out there, if you're even looking for playoff tickets or even possibly tickets to the Super Bowl, let me tell you, the smartest way to buy and sell sports tickets and concert tickets is with our friends at SeatGeek. So you know how this thing works. You've seen Kayak, where basically it's a travel thing, or Expedia, where they aggregate all of the different rates right there in one setting. Well, that's exactly what SeatGeek does. They have an incredible, easy-to-use app. They have a module in their chat where you can actually compare pricing, and they also give you great values. But because this is so good, Chad, and because you are so rich, I know we got to give the people a little something,
okay,
for being a first-time user. So what would you recommend that we give them?
You know what? I love everybody. $20 rebate for the first-time users.
$20 rebate for first-time users. Here's all you got to do. Download the free SeatGeek app. Then go into the settings, hit the tab, and click on Add Promo Code. And, Chad, let's give them a code that they can remember. So what would you say the best code should be?
The best code, something I use in all my private business. Okay. I'm going to share with everybody else.
All right.
Use code OCHO.
OCHO. O-C-H-O. That's it. Just OCHO. That's all you got to do. Use the code OCHO. and we'll send you $20 after your first purchase. Just download the free SeatGeek app and then enter the promo code OCHO, and you have yourself a winner. It's just that simple. You're listening to the Ocho and Dukes podcast powered by Digital Media. And now it's time for what we like to call old school and new school. Now, even though Chad just celebrated his 40-something birthday again, he's still not old school. I'm still the old head of the OG in the house, Chad being the new school guy. And kind of helped me out here. We go back to the Cincinnati Bengals game. Vontaze Burfict makes the play, run into the tunnel, supposedly game over. But was that too much, Chad?
Nah, not to me. I liked it, especially the timing of when he chose to do it. You know, if you know football, any of us that actually know football, with a minute and some change to go, that game is over. That game is over. All you have to do is, run the ball, maybe once or twice, get a first down, and you run the clock out. The game is over.
So he blew his moment.
Okay. We would say he blew his moment, but the timing and the execution and delivery of the moment was on point. It was on point.
I agree. I mean, it was classic. But how do you let it come back and bite you? And you're the guy that it comes back. I mean, of all people, to let it bite you, let somebody else be the one that really he shouldn't have had anything else to do with it. And by the way, that penalty, and I thought it was. I don't want to say it was a bogus call, but for people to think that he was headhunting, if you've never seen Vontaze Burfict play, because this dude is a heat-seeking, punish-you missile, he clearly pulled off, in my opinion.
Right, he did. If he went, he pulled off to an extent, but in that situation, he could have avoided it completely. He's athletic. He's athletic enough to avoid it completely. He tried to pull back enough, but he grazed Tonio with his shoulder pad. And, unfortunately, being a friend that Antonio is of mine for the past who knows how long, I was sad to see him down, but
But on the other side, see, because I just didn't think it was. I think it was inadvertent contact at best. And then here again, and this is one of the media things that I can't stand. Right. Is the fact that, the dude screwed up in being out of control. Right. But there's a difference to me then, and they do it all the time. They're trying to make it seem like he tried to lay out the wide receiver, and that just wasn't the case. But because we don't like somebody, we always do this add-on crap, as opposed to just looking at the situation. They should have everybody who's seen that dude play knows he could have killed him if he wanted to. So clearly he just kind of threw a little shoulder in, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But on the other side, you got Pac-Man now, and Adam. And I love Adam. Tremendously talented guy, first of all. Very. And I mean, matter of fact, the two of you guys might have the sweetest feet I've probably ever seen. Dude's got feet. He has footwork. But sometimes saying that Brian needed an Oscar, should get an Oscar for that. Because if you watch the replay, he was out on before he hit the ground. You can see on the slow-mo, his eyes, it was a wrap.
Yeah. He was caught in the right place, where most people are caught, on the side of the helmet. It's like hitting a baseball and or hitting a golf ball and wanting to hit the sweet spot. I mean, even with Burfict pulling back, he hit the sweet spot of the helmet, and that's what caused Brown to be unconscious for that slight moment, to where the body goes stiff, or still, for that matter.
You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by Digital Media.
It's the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast.
Now it's time for the Frenemal of the day. When we look at the mistakes and failures in our life, it is guaranteed that Frenimals are at play. There are three types of Frenimals. Frenemal number one is family. Whether intentional or unintentional, Chad, family can be guilty of enabling dysfunctional behavior. And I can just speak to it this way, Chad. I know the calls you get from Cousin Wee Wee and Cousin Skeeter, every week about, hey, cuz, let me hold something. Just let me hold something, So Frenemal number one is family. Frenemal number two, these are coworkers. These are people who smile in our face and they stab us in our back. These are people who, are in our inner space. These are people we've actually defriended from our Facebook page. These are people who can be trolls. But these are people that we interact with. And then the third Frenemal, and it's the most dangerous of the three, It's the friend that's the enemy on the inside. I wrote a book, and you can log on to Frenemals.com. You can get the book. I wrote a book and have a kid's book out as well. Frenemal number 3 is the friend that's the enemy on the inside. That's the voice that speaks to us. And the reason it's the most dangerous, Chad, is because
that's the scariest one.
That's the guy or the gal, mind you, because we all have Frenemals, by the way. That's the gal that said, hey, look, it encouraged us when others said we couldn't do something. But it's also the voice that told us to have that extra glass of something at the bar, pick up a girl at the bar and have unprotected sex with. So it's that same voice. That's the reason it's so dangerous. So going back to the overall theory behind the Frenemal is that when we look at the mistakes and failures in life, it is guaranteed that one, if not two, if not all 3 of those Frenemals are at play. And this is a 1,000% bulletproof axiom of life, Mr. Chad. And you know who today's Frenemal of the day actually is? It's the media. And by the way, the reason I came up with, and let's take a little sidebar here. I wrote the book, Beware of Frenemals. I've mentored a lot of guys over the years and still do, of all ages and entertainers and some, so on and so forth. And one of the guys that I was working with, Chad, is a guy that you and I both know very well, Darren Sharper. Hey. And so Darren and I, we would talk and this, that, and the other. And I won't say not to get too much into his business, but for those of you who don't know, Darren Sharper, should be in the Hall of Fame, actually. New Orleans Saint, had a great career, Green Bay Packers, so on and so forth. Pled being guilty of date raping arguably 20-some-odd women, doing date rape drugs, things of that nature. So that's basically so I'm working with him, dog. And so we're talking. He's got a crib in, I want to say, South Beach. You got a condo in South Beach. You got a house in Fort Lauderdale. Got a house in New Orleans. Got a place, I want to say, in Virginia. And he's living in a hotel most of the time working on NFL Network and not going home to sleep in his bed. And I said, what's going on with that? And he said, well, I just kind of like it out. But what I found out was that was the fertile hunting ground for him, for all the stuff that he was doing. What were you thinking when you heard about what happened with Sharper? It
was unsettling for me, for one. But when I think about it, when it comes to men in general, once you say you're an athlete, things become a bit easier once you're an athlete. Once you have money, things become a bit easier. So to me, Mr. Sharper didn't have to do whatever the things he were doing. All the extracurricular activities weren't really needed because he had all the backing to get whoever he wanted at will. Because there were many that will just go for you and allow you the opportunity to do whatever you want to do with them for the simple fact that you are an NFL player. Period. Just alone. Just for you playing the ball. Oh, man, they're gone. They're gone. Now, I'm not sure where or why or what the thought process was on him having to do X, Y, and Z was, but I mean, it was crazy, and I was actually shocked. I was shocked.
Yeah, I just, the thing about it though, what it showed you was, I believe, is because it was clearly, I mean, the reason I know he's a predator or a sociopath has to do with, and I'm not judging him. I'm just saying by the clinical definition of what those things are, is by virtue of as good looking a guy as he was. He could have it. This was about power. It wasn't about sex. It was about power.
Over the individuals at that time. Yeah,
it was. Yes, it had nothing to do with sex. It was, and I'm not a shrink either. But clearly, when you put the piece together, because you know him, I know him. There ain't, if he's hunting, if that person is available, they're going home with him. And so I just, it was just one of the things. But anyway, so that was the reason why, that was what the impetus was to actually put it over the top for me to write the book about Beware of Frenemals. Now, that being said, let's move on to what I characterize as today's Frenemal of the day. And to me, it's the media that has this axe to grind with Marvin Lewis. And I'm not sure what Marvin Lewis did to them, but every conclusion that they draw, it's amazing how all of the conclusions that come to be drawn are somehow in the way, somehow we're going to blah, 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 blah. Is Marvin going to get fired? Zabba dabba 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 dabba. Is Marvin going to get fired? And here you got a guy who's won 40-some-odd games, over the last few years. I mean, I guess they won the division 3 out of 4 times or something like that. I mean, they're on a roll, no question about it. They've been in the playoffs 5 times now in Andy Dalton's career in 5 years. So he's got the thing hitting the right track. But at the same time, He's not quarterback that has 1 touchdown and 6 INTs in 4 games in the playoffs. So that's his playoff history. Marvin can't do anything about that. And then you go into this year and you have a rookie quarterback and you position yourself to win the game, and then they're talking about should Marvin be fired because they could control perfect and Pac-Man. It's like, why are you guys so fixated on trying to get this dude fired?
I'm looking at what he's been able to do since he came to Cincinnati. What he's been able to do with what I call the new generation players. What he's been able to do with that team offensively, defensively, to this point is to be commended. Where they're going is to be commended because he's coming from the bottom and working them to the top, actually being able to get to the playoffs, because there was a time when you're playing for Cincinnati, you knew once December, January was coming around, you're going home.
Right.
Every year as a fan in Cincinnati, and you can expect to be in the first round of the playoffs every single year. That is refreshing in itself. After having to deal with losing for who knows how many years, at some point, which I thought this year would be, they're going to get over the hump. And it didn't happen this year. It's going to happen next year. And I said it before the season even started. And the only reason it didn't happen is because Andy Dalton went down. That's it. Both sides of the ball are unbelievable on both sides of the ball, defense and offense. There's really no weak spots on that team except the players that are young, being able to control their emotions in games of that magnitude. And that comes with maturity.
You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by Digital Media. We've had an incredible playoffs already this year, and I know folks are looking for playoff tickets, Chad, or looking for possibly tickets to the Super Bowl. And I got to tell you, the smartest way to do it, to buy and sell sports tickets and concert tickets, is with our friends at SeatGeek. You know how this thing works. You've seen Kayak or Expedia where they aggregate all of the different rates right there in one setting. Well, that's exactly what SeatGeek does. They have an incredible, easy-to-use app where you can actually compare pricing, and they also give you great values. But because this is so good, Chad, we got to give the people a little something, for being a first-time user. So what would you recommend that we give them?
You know what? I love everybody.
You do.
And I've always been a giver all these years.
Right.
So I think for all my first-time users, how about a $20 rebate?
$20 rebate. Is that singles? How are we doing that?
Singles.
So 20 single. Well, maybe not 20 singles, but so all first-time users will get a rebate of $20 off of your first purchase. Now, here, let me tell you exactly what you need to do. You need to download the free, by the way, SeatGeek app, and then in the app, load it and click on the settings tab and enter the promo. Chad, we need something that the folks can remember. What kind of promo code can we give?
Go with Ocho. Let's go with Ocho.
Ocho. O-C-H-O. So enter the promo. Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with that. It's been treating you really good for a long time. So Ocho is the promo code. And after your first purchase, you will receive $20 as a result of that. So all you got to do is download the free SeatGeek app and enter the promo code Ocho today. You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, powered by Digital Media. And now it's time for Ocho's World. And we mentioned earlier, Chad, happy birthday to you. But I got to know. I mean, the people want to know. First of all, what's a Chad Ochocinco birthday like?
This is the funny thing. The perception on Chad himself,
right,
that people that they perceive as a turn-up guy, guy that drinks alcohol, a guy that clubs, full of life, this whole persona.
Come on.
And they don't realize that Chad lives a extremely boring life.
Oh, come on!
Hey, I'm just saying. I live an extremely boring life that many wouldn't like to do. And the funny thing, if you follow me on Twitter, you know my routine daily for the past 5 years, which I've been doing, which has been a 22-year routine.
Did you do the coffee in the
Man, 5 o'clock in the morning.
With the robe on?
Starbucks. I'm at Starbucks at 5:30 every morning, where I wait 30 minutes for them to open. I get my coffee. I come back home. I get my McDonald's. I get my McDonald's every morning about 8 o'clock.
Now, you have pancakes or in the sausage?
Pancakes, sausage egg McMuffin with a large OJ.
Okay.
Have my pancakes.
Right.
Then I drive down to South Beach. I have a cigar, maybe 3 or 4 cups of cafe con leche. I play soccer around.
Wait, what was that again? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Cafe con leche, Cuban coffee.
What is it? Cuban coffee.
Cuban coffee.
Okay,
yeah,
well, you got to help me out with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
When you get down here, I got you. I'm going to take you there.
Okay.
I have about 3 or 4 cups of cafe con leche, Cuban coffee, where I have maybe a cigar, maybe 2, depending on the atmosphere on South Beach and how the people watching goes, which is what I do.
Okay.
People watch. Mm-hmm. After that, it's around maybe 4 or 5 o'clock. I play soccer. I play soccer every day at Midtown Soccer, which is in Midtown. Little indoor soccer. Uh-huh. I play there from 4 to 5 or 5 to 6. After I play FIFA. Everybody knows I love the game of FIFA. So, of course, being that everyone knows I'm at Midtown Soccer, I have so many different challenges that come down. I'll play them in a video game for maybe 2-3 hours, beat everybody, as I always do, consistently.
So you just consistently, it's just beat down.
Consistently beat them, and I get home around maybe 9 o'clock. About
at
10,
night?
At night. 10 o'clock, I'm asleep. Now, my birthday day went a little bit different.
Okay, now did you buy the Bugatti this time? What'd you do? I heard you were looking at a car, thinking of what'd you do?
No. So I woke up, same routine.
Right.
5 o'clock, went and got my coffee. Right. Then I had a surprise. My surprise told me to get dressed. I had to skip McDonald's.
Oh, hell, that ain't no surprise if you're going somewhere. I thought the surprise was, it's your birthday. I ain't mad at you. Oh, what?
Wait, but the fact that they're taking me out of my routine was a surprise in itself.
Okay.
Because I had no idea where I was going. They said, you're going to have to skip McDonald's this morning. Where we need to be, we have to be there at 9:30, so I need you to get dressed. So I got dressed. My ride picked me up. We're driving. I don't know where we're driving to, but we show up at a resort. Okay, we're at a resort. I haven't been to a resort in Lord knows how long. Mm-hmm. I get in, we walk in. I greet everybody with "I love yous." I have no idea who they are.
Right.
And we go down to a spa. Right. Man, I had a massage for the first time in maybe 13 years. And I had a problem. Yes, I had a problem with getting massages when I was playing football because I felt it was more of a mind thing than it was a woman rubbing on you.
What?
Yes,
you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I swear. That's what. You don't know Marvin, but man, you could talk to Hugh. Hugh will tell you I never got massages. I always ate McDonald's throughout my entire career, and I never did yoga. I never did any of that stuff, and I never got hurt. My entire career, never got hurt because I felt it was all in the mind. But dude, let me tell you something, Dukes. This massage was so awesome, and I haven't had a woman touch me like that since 1978.
Now I don't know if you know about these. There's certain spa places where they call them the happy ending place.
You know what? I didn't get a happy ending. But it's okay. It's okay. I didn't get a happy ending. The day itself ended happy. That was enough for me.
Okay, so the day itself ended happy.
Yeah, the day itself. And this is the good thing. After the massage, this was even better though. After the massage, we sat outside by the beach, by the pier.
Oh, yeah.
We had lunch. Man, it was beautiful, man. And just the scenery itself. And then the bill came. And this is one of the things that everybody listening, you need to do this because it's extremely fun. I always keep a deck of Uno cards with me. So when the bill comes, we always play Uno to decide who pays the bill. It ain't whether it's my birthday or not. We play the best out of 3, a hand of Uno, on who pays the bill. And if you don't have Uno, get you a regular deck of cards, play Tunk, play Spades, play I Declare War. It's just something fun and exciting, especially on first dates or just any date for that matter, man. It makes it fun. And, on just to decide who pays the bill. Just add a little spice, a little fun to a date.
You got to remember now, see, everybody may not be able to afford to go where you like to go.
Wait, you got to understand, my bill on this particular date, was only $55.
No way.
It was $55. Well, not the resort part, not the spa and all that. I'm talking about the meal. The meal itself.
I'm with you.
The meal itself, I was simple. The meal itself was $55 and some change.
I feel that.
And, and she had the nerve to, grab it when the lady put the bill down. I say, no, boo-boo, it doesn't work like that. Right. And I pulled up my deck of cards. We're going to play Uno to decide who pays this bill. And it's fun, man. It's really fun.
So let me ask you this: over the years, we're talking about Ocho's world here. Over the years, what is the best birthday celebration or present you gave yourself?
Oh man, The playoff game, New York Jets, 2009, I believe.
Okay.
I bought the International semi-truck, if I'm not mistaken.
What's the International semi-truck? What's that? That's that big truck that, what's the name, had one?
Like
quarterback from McAllister used to have one?
I think McAllister had one. Albert Hainsworth had one.
Yes. Okay.
And I got one for myself. Mm-hmm. And, man, I really enjoyed it. It was decked out, and I really, really, really enjoyed that. And that was one of the few gifts, actually the few gifts where I went outside of my normal routine to get something that I thought and felt, I deserved. And I enjoyed it.
So, but where could you drive the thing? I mean, because that thing is so tall.
It's so big, but I drove it everywhere, and it was able to park because I'm such a skillful driver. I was able to drive anywhere and park anywhere and didn't hit anything. And I kept it for maybe 2 years because I went through that phase of having it and went right back to my smart car, which I've been driving my smart car 9 years now.
Really?
Yeah, man. I love that smart car, man. 55 miles to the gallon. It's a chick magnet, and it turns heads. You can't beat that.
Text me a picture of it.
I got you.
Got to see it.
We know what my best gift was that I received, and I did it for myself. What was the best gift you ever received?
It was just recently. It was actually my 50th birthday last year. I bought myself and you know how this is. When you're the provider, everything, the kids get everything, wifey get everything, girlfriend, whomever, they get everything. And a lot of times we don't do anything for ourselves. And I've been kind of that way. The older you get, it kind of gets that way. I got a daughter in college, graduated, said the I bought myself a new Panamera.
Hey.
Yeah. So so that was happy number 50 to me. And it was funny because I told my wife, yeah, I'm doing this. She didn't have a problem with it, but it was like, it don't matter this is what I'm doing.
I like it.
This is what I'm doing. And then I put some, I'm from Florida, you from Florida, so I got to put dubs on it. I mean, she's got a 7. She's had, multiple BMWs, and so she won't, I just how I grew up. I got to put rims on them.
Right.
So she was saying,
definitely.
well, why would you ruin that car? I said, excuse me. I'm sorry. Maybe we didn't understand this. I'm buying me a car for me.
Me. Okay.
So I'm going to put these 22s on it with these chrome rims. And if you want to get in there, that's fine. But that is my birthday present. Happy 50th to me.
I see. This is what women fail to realize. When women leave the house, they have on an outfit. Their most important accessory always is what's on their feet and what they're carrying on their shoulder. It's no different if they have to understand the analogy goes the same with the car. A car with no rims is no different than her leaving the house without shoes on. That doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. Or having some Chuck Taylors on with a nice set of leggings. And I've just always been that way. I mean, every car that I've had, I just put rims on. That's just what we do. I don't ask for a whole lot, but I'm gonna have that.
Right.
You're listening to the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast powered by digital media. Now it's time for a segment we're doing in honor of the great Stuart Scott who passed away recently, and we're calling this segment, Chad, The Other Side of the Pillow. And what we brought in to help us with the other side of the pillow is our fearless leader and executive producer, Lou Pellegrino. Lou, what's up, man?
What's going on, boys? How are you?
You doing all right?
Oh, fantastic. Loving this first podcast, man. It's great.
So you've had an opportunity to listen to everything that we have said, Chad and I have said. And so give us your assessment from the other side of the pillow.
All right. So earlier in the show, Chad, you said that you enjoyed the theatrics of Vontaze Burfict catching the interception and running up the tunnel out of the arena, out of the stadium, wherever he went. I'm sorry, man. If I'm on his team, I'm grabbing him and saying to him, you know what? That's all fun and good. The theatrics are there and it's nice, but I have to be honest with you, man. This game is not over yet.
Right. Wait a minute. You have to understand in the game of football, at that moment, with the time that was left on the clock and what he chose to do, the game was over at that moment if it was executed the right way on offense.
But Chad, that's a big if. Those are big ifs. Now, I'm sitting there as a fan. I have no delusions of grandeur. I am not a professional football player. But sitting there in my living room watching that game, every fan, to a man, woman, child, is sitting there thinking, and I'm a superstitious person, Okay? And I'm thinking that's going to come back to haunt them.
Right. Okay.
And it did.
And I understand what you're meaning. But the chances, this was my thought process when he went to the tunnel. Actually, when Ben threw the interception, my first thoughts were, okay, game over. We got this one. We're finally going to the second round of the playoffs, because offensively, the chances of the execution on offense going wrong are slim to none. And what happened in that moment when the fumble occurred, all I could think about was when Herm Edwards picked that fumble up. I don't remember. I don't know what year that was.
Yeah, it was probably around 1976 or 77.
Like, the chances of that happening are like slim to none. And I think maybe if the conditions weren't the way they were, we'd be fine.
You know what? There's still that slim chance of it happening.
Right.
And
I understand.
because my thing is, okay, look, Deion Sanders was my favorite football player growing up, and so was Barry Sanders. Two people with the same last name, but who were totally polar opposites. I grab the ball, I run to the sideline, I go to Marvin Lewis and say, we're on to the next game. But no, he had to make the theatrics, and he had to think of, let's shove it in their face as best we could. Look, and I'm all for trash talk. I love it.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But to me, things like that come back to bite you, and it did, because nothing is a sure thing.
There are 3 things that are sure in life.
Yes, I know.
Taxes, and I was always open.
I knew that.
Okay, I just had to get that.
I gotta add the fourth, and Frenemals. That's the fourth. No matter, you cannot escape it. You cannot escape it. Sweet Lou, what else did you see, or what else did you hear that you were looking at it from the other side of the pillow?
It's more or less the game being played to decide the bill. I'm actually on Chad's side for this. I actually like this one. That's something that jumped out at me. So I don't know if it's the other side of the pillow, but this is definitely on the pillow, because this is something when I lay my head down to sleep at night, I'm going to be thinking of other games to play when I go out on dates. So I love it.
So you don't think in chivalry, and I get that too, but I guess that's dating and all that. But when you get married, you're wondering which one of your cards that she's going to pull out, or how's that work? I guess, Lou, you're still dating right now. And by the way, let me give you a little advice to give your girl, because sometimes women can kind of get this, and this is the fundamental. This is as bulletproof an axiom of life as you ever want to get. Women don't seem to understand. We as men only need 2 things. Love us and make love to us. That's it. All that else. Okay, I cook my own meal. I go buy a meal. I'm the chef of the house anyway. I mean, there's just 2 things that women should understand about men, and lives and relationships would last a whole lot longer. All we want them to do is love us and make love to us. Lou. Tell your girl that, man.
Oh, I'm taken care of in that department, boys.
Yeah. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. As time goes on, things get more complicated. See, you guys are in the dating phase now.
Oh, we've been together a while. It's not dating. We still go out on dates.
Well, I'm sorry. You're still in the pre. This is the long haul. I've been with my wife now. We've been together 20-some years.
And she doesn't understand that you need to put rims on that car? Man.
No, they don't. That's correct. They don't. You're going to see they don't. And you're going to be bragging about how, I'm taking care of it. When you get married, things change, player. And all the folks out there, a lot of young folks are listening, but some of the old heads who are listening, they will tell you, you got to get a reservation to get that thing from time to time now. Once you've been there a long time now, so when it's fresh and new, hit it all you want, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
But when you settle down, dang, boo, could I just, hey.
Remember
I'm not saying
me?
I ain't getting it. Yeah, I'm not saying you ain't getting it, but the production slows down. So I'm just, just a little, word to the wise.
So get it while the getting's good.
I would enjoy the hell out of it. Sweet Lou, we appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, boys.
That's going to do it for the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast, the first edition, the inaugural edition. Chad, any final words?
My final words is love. And my final word always for every podcast will be love. Love as many people as you can. Tell somebody you don't even like you love them. Man, confuse them. Just love all day. That's the key.
That's going to do it for this edition of the Ochocinco and Dukes podcast. And you can always catch us on iTunes, Stitcher, or at sportsvoices.com. Thanks for listening.
This has been a digital media production. Find your voice.